This edition of Retail Week is brought to you by Tech Hub Live Conference and Expo, July 20th and 21st at the Iowa Event Center in Des Moines. Early bird discount expires on May 19th, so hurry to techhublive.com and register today. Hello again, welcome to another edition of CropLife Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf here with Eric Sfiligoj. How are you, sir?
I am good, sir. How are you?
Excellent. It's a beautiful sunny day. Talking to folks that are out in the field and running hard. So that's good to hear. Hopefully that's some of your customers and you're out there helping them out. So, but it's spring seems to be trickling in here. We got to pick up at a couple of degrees on the way to 70, I think, in the next 7 days. So that's a happy thing.
Yeah, actually, I did see a story, Paul, online that corn plantings for this year are at the fastest pace we've seen since 2015. So weather conditions seem to be agreeing here for the first time in 6 years for most of the country.
Absolutely. Excellent. So do you want to start us off with something? You got a nugget for us to go?
Well, okay, Paul, I'll quiz you a little bit here. See what you want to go with first, and that'll determine our direction. I have some good news, I have some bad news, and I have some, I guess what you'd call unsurprising news. So, going back to our little Western theme of Clint Eastwood movies, which would you like to start with?
Let's do the good news. What the heck?
Okay, the good news is, as we've talked about in many a video this year, our friends in China have had a great appetite for U.S. corn here in 2021, and apparently that is continuing. Found out this week that China has purchased another 1.36 million metric tons of U.S. corn to be delivered by September 1st, and now that, Paul, marks the fifth largest purchase by the country here in the last year or so. So again, as a result, of course, commodity prices for corn are still going up. I think it's just shy of $8 a bushel last I checked. So, again, Chinese appetite for U.S. corn not diminishing at all, and looks like it's going to continue at least through the beginning of the third quarter of 2021.
Yeah, and I guess the downside is that, and maybe this is your bad news, is scuttlebutt is that all the input prices for pretty much everything are going up. I mean, it's not just lumber and gasoline and other stuff. It's a lot of inputs the farmers purchase, which of course will end up eroding all that profit if we're not careful. But certainly hearing a lot of that out there in Twitter and elsewhere.
Yeah, no, actually that was not the bad news. But if you want to go with the bad news, I can bring that up next if you wish. I know we were just talking about folks out in the field planting and how the pace is actually quite good, but I did mention a video or two ago about drought conditions hitting a lot of the western United States. Actually, USDA just released a report talking about that, and according to the report, 14 states, Paul, have now been deemed having no topsoil moisture in surplus, which basically means drought conditions are present. And unfortunately, those 14 include some really big agricultural states, including North and South Dakota, Iowa, and California. So again, in certain parts of the country, at least 14 states, the going's a little rough as the soil is not getting as moist as it needs to be for planting to take place. So our hearts go out to those folks. Yeah,
that's another tough year for areas of the Dakotas, I'd imagine. I haven't gone back and visited with some of the folks that have had almost 2 years of prevent plant back to back, but boy, they need some good news out there.
Yeah, so again, like I said, that was just a recent release of a USDA report. So again, we'll keep an eye on that. But 14 states here, and we're only in mid-May. It's not a good sign, I trust, as we get into the hotter months here coming up in June and July.
Absolutely. So do you want to keep going, or do you want me to throw a couple of things?
Well, okay, maybe you're going to have to help him with the unsurprising news. This goes, because again, I have trouble pronouncing these chemical names. So this is a story. Apparently, a while back, there were some court decisions in the European Union regarding the usage of neonicotinoids in the marketplace. They basically were pulled off the market, and one of the suppliers of those, Bayer, had appealed to the European Union's highest court. But we found out this week that the European Union's highest court has said, nope, the ban can stay in place. So the Bayer and Syngenta neonicotinoids that were being used in the EU up until a couple of months or so ago are going to stay off the market because they're, according to some studies, they're a danger to the bee population in Europe, and they don't want to use them. So.
Yeah, I can't imagine in Europe getting a reversal on that. That's just, those stories, even the science that's not particularly good or outright bad, is already out there. It's already codified, and changing course would be almost impossible. So a tip there.
Since I said, that's why I said unsurprising news. I mean, the European Union upholding a ban on active ingredients in their marketplace. Not surprising at all, but nonetheless, I thought it bared mentioning. So.
Yeah, well, and of course, if you're in the club, it's okay to call them neonics, so you don't have to worry about saying the rest of the word.
I was trying to pronounce it. Yeah, those really long compound words always did throw me as a child, and I've gotten no better as an adult, I must confess.
Great.
So what do you have to share, Paul? I think you're a technology kind of guy, so what do you got to talk about on that front?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I noticed. Raven sent out a release that they've gone to renaming their, they obviously acquired all this technology, put all these things under their tent, and they acquired Drought and Smart Ag and the Auto Cart. Now you get the circus of names. So they're changing the names of those two to OmniDrive and OmniPower. OmniDrive will be the auto cart portion of that, and it was from Smart Ag, the autonomous grain carts that come along beside the combines and pick up the crop and take it away. So just try to get consistency on that front. And the OmniPower is going to be the name for the Drought technology, which is that modular, the ability to to do autonomy and to change out all kinds of different implements and run the system that way. So that's the names you'll hear: OmniDrive and OmniPower. It's something we kind of expected Raven to do, and so that's happening. And I think we'll probably see when we do get back to the shows here in the summer, we're going to see a lot of those two technologies floating around.
Yes, fingers crossed, Paul. Hopefully, when I'm attending the Maggie show here at the end of August, I'll be seeing some of that stuff for myself in person, and perhaps you will as well. You going to Tech Hub Live in Des Moines at the end of July.
I have an inkling you'll see something at Tech Hub. I'm just,
I guess it depends how big the space is. I know Maggie being an outdoor show, there's a little less space considerations than there would be inside a convention hall, but nonetheless, I'm sure you can set something up in Des Moines. So.
Yeah, so I'm risking jumping the gun a little bit, but we're on the final stages of putting together an advanced field day on July 19th before Tech Hub, the afternoon of that Monday before. So keep an eye out for that. That's kind of what I'm alluding to. We may see some outdoor demos at this field day, along with some really cool technology being demonstrated by the farm itself. A really good lunch. This is a farmer with cattle, so he will not. No
fish on the menu. Is that what you're saying, Paul?
Yes. Yeah. Be sure to pick up your fish and salad. So he's not going to bide anything less than a stellar lunch for the group. We also secured Mike Naig, the Iowa Secretary of Ag, who will be making some commentary and available to talk to those folks that are attending that. We'll have details up on the website soon enough for that. That'd be a separate admission fee, but I'm sure it'll be quite reasonable. And then also to mention too, the Tech Hub, as was in the pre-roll that you just heard, the deadline for signing up is May 19th. If you have any questions about what we're doing, we have a lot of the agenda up on the website, so you can kind of see what we're talking about from a standpoint of conference. We're getting a lot of signups now, and we're really excited about what's happening with it. So, but if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. So,
I think maybe I ought to clarify for our viewers that the May 19th deadline is the early registration deadline. We'll obviously take registrations all the way until, I'm sure, July 19th if need be. So.
Yes, I want to save you money. So that's why I'm telling you May 19th is the advance date for registration. Get your best rate there.
Okay.
And then lastly, just to mention, Landus Ag, I've been talking to Matt Carsons quite a bit about this optimization technique that they're using to bring on cooperatives that kind of mesh with the things that the technologies and the systems that growers and farmers don't necessarily interact with. It's those back office things that they help combine, and it helps hopefully to, I guess, optimize the way these outlets operate without affecting that farmer relationship. So they signed a new optimization agreement with Mid-State Milling is the latest. I think that's the third one in the group. Is New Way Cage Cooperative and Snitcher Grain. Those were the first two companies that Landus signed on. But it's an interesting concept. I mean, I'm sure there's been that try before you buy kind of model with folks that have been on a little more of an informal basis. But this kind of formalizes that idea of sharing what we can share without affecting the farmer relationship. And then if it goes to the next level where it's a merger, that's great. If it doesn't, it can go back to separation again, or they can continue in an optimization mode. So it's a good, it's an interesting, compelling way to kind of view this and to get to a place where if a merger makes sense for everybody, that it goes forward.
Very good.
So I think that's it for me. You got anything else?
No, I think that covers it for this week.
Good. Well, for those who are planning and moving, we wish you more sunny days. Get that crop in the ground and keep things moving. We appreciate you watching during your busy time. Hopefully, this is a nice little escape for everything that you're working on. And we look forward to you joining us next week for another edition of CropLife Retail Week. We'll see you then.
If you have questions or comments about today's episode of Retail Week, contact us by email or Twitter, or type your message in the comment section below.
Your feedback is important to us. We'll try our best to address your thoughts in next week's episode.
And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel.